You got Leon D here, and we're going to talk about food. I'm not an expert on anything to do with food, but I've been around a long time, and I am a professional barbecuologist. I know food. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know a lot of things that you may not like. That's the intro for Leon D. Let's get it on. This is your boy Leon D, and I'm back here to tell you some other things about barbecuing that you just don't know. Let me tell you some things that you should know this before you get ready for this major holiday coming up called the 4th of July. You know, when you barbecue, you got to plan it out. You got to plan it out. A lot of people don't plan it out. That's a problem. If you don't plan it out, you're going to have problems. You don't just get out of bed and say, I'm going to barbecue today. Most of you do that. That's why your barbecue sucks. That's why your food sucks. That's why you got to start barbecuing and then you got to run to the store. That is stupid. Now, what I'm going to say here is that some of you may agree or may not disagree. I don't care. Because I'm going to tell you, because I got a lot of experience. I'm not an expert, but my experiences showed me what to do and what not to do. And some of the mistakes, when I was younger, I made them as well. So I'm not perfect, but I am a lot better than I was about 20 years ago. Or no, that's pretty good 20 years ago. Maybe 35 years ago, when I started buying all kind of smokers and, all kind of grills, and I was experimenting around to see what's the best path and route I want to take before I became an expert. Yeah, I did all that. So I did a lot of dumb things. But more importantly, all you do a lot of dumb things today. Now, let me get down to it. The first thing, like I said earlier, my barbecues and my smoking events are planned well in advance. I don't roll out of bed looking like I'm going to Walmart to go buy things. No. I buy my meats at least 2 to 3 days in advance. I do a lot of things. And now saying that I buy my meats 2 or 3 days in advance. The first thing I do, I barbecue almost every week in the summer. I'm talking about I'll barbecue 3 weeks in a row and then take a week off. Because normally I got enough food left over that it's gonna last me a week and sometimes into the next week, or I'm out of town that week, or I got something else going on. So what I do, and I said this before in a different video, when I have a barbecue, I don't care if it's big, small, catering event, whatever I'm doing, when I finish, I clean my grill. That's number 2. I clean my grill. Number 1 is the planning part. Number 2, I clean my grill. I clean my grill because I hate having to clean my grill the day I want to use it. And you should never cook on a dirty grill. Never. If I see you cook on a dirty grill, I will never eat anything you ever cooked. Because you got rain, you got wind, you got dust, you got all kind of natural elements that is going to make your grill not be clean. I clean it, I cover it. The next time I'm going to use it, I'm going to spray it down with grill cleaner, and then that's a wrap. As soon as I do the grill cleaner, I burn off all those elements. About an hour, I'm ready to go. It's not like I open the grill up, 2 minutes later, I got meat on it. No. So all of you, and I know most of you, stop doing that. Stop doing that. That's nasty. Okay? And one thing that I'm a big fan, and let's talk about this for a second because a lot of you do it. I have never, ever in my life used lighter fluid. Never, ever have I ever. No. Lighter fluid, you're going to taste it. I don't care how long it burns before you put meat on there. You're going to taste it in the charcoal or whatever it is, the wood, you're going to taste it. There are so many other things that you can use better than lighter fluid and won't give you the taste. Lighter fluid is just chemicals. They are nothing else, just chemicals, okay? I don't put anything on my grills or smokers that's chemicals. Now, you can use a chimney starter. Use a chimney starter, and that'll get the charcoals going. Also, one thing I've used in the past too was butcher paper that I had used to wrap meat and stuff in. I used that in the past, but just don't use lighter fluid because you're gonna taste it. And if you say you can't taste it, I can tell you why. Your body is used to it. Get somebody who's not used to it. It's kind of like marijuana smoke. People who smoke marijuana, they can't smell it, but I can smell it 5 miles away. I got cousins. I don't smell anything because you're high and it's a natural smell to you. Well, it's not a natural smell to me. So don't use lighter fluid. One thing that I ran into with a partner of mine, I'm thinking number 4, because lighter fluid number 3. One thing I ran into a problem. One thing you can't do, you cannot rush the coals to get done, to get ready. No, you can't do that. Coals are gonna be ready when they're ready. That's just how life works. I went to a friend of mine, a house, and it was kind of windy, which is dumb any damn way. He had some coals on, and when I left there, the coals were not ready to, they were not ready to use to put meat on. They were not ready. I went to the store. I was gone 5 minutes. I came back, and this whole bag of 20 pounds of coals were white. I looked at him and said, "Hey man, did you put a lot of food on that?" He said, "No." I said, "How do coals burn so damn quick in 5 minutes?" He goes, "Well, a draft came through, and it was fire everywhere." I said, "Nah, dude, I've been barbecue for damn near 40 years, and I do use charcoal every now and then." I said, "There's no way 20 pounds of charcoal got that white in the amount of time I was gone. There's just no way possible." But I'm not going to call you a liar without evidence. So when I call you a liar, I got evidence. So what happened was that he went inside for something, and I looked behind the damn grill, his smoker, because he had a camp chef, and I see a bottle of lighter fluid. I lost my damn mind because I smelt what I thought was lighter fluid. But like I said, I'm not gonna call you a liar without evidence. Oh yeah. So at least to say that was the last time him and I ever had an interaction on food. The other thing too, number 5 here. You can't use cheap or poor ingredients. No, you can't do that. You gotta look for a good cut of meat. Look at the marbling. Look at the internal fat. You may not get it perfect. You may have to trim the fat a little bit or whatever you got to do. But also, I trim all my meats and I wash all my meats. But my point is, when the only thing I've ever put on my grill without being washed first is ground meat. Ground meat. That's the only thing I've ever put on my grills or smokers without washing. Anything else get washed first. I don't want blood on my meat. I don't want none of this stuff. Everything is washed first. When I buy stuff, I buy top of the line stuff. Whether it's the seasoning, whether it's the meats, I buy quality stuff. And believe me, you can tell the difference of someone who bought quality and somebody who did not. It ain't no mystery. You can tell the difference. Some people say, even when it comes to salt and pepper, I order all my seasonings. I order all my seasonings. I've never used McCormick. I'm not saying McCormick is bad. The advantage of McCormick is that they come in small containers and they are easy to find in any grocery store that you go in. You go in a grocery store, McCormick is everywhere. Matter of fact, McCormick, the plant ain't but a few miles from my house. But I'm the kind of person that I want something a little better, so you have a different taste. And McCormick, one thing about them, they add a lot of salt to all their seasonings. But and so I'm not a big fan of that. But one thing I can say, you want McCormick stuff, especially if you're doing just something quick and simple around the house. I don't use my expensive seasoning on that if I'm doing something for me, just me. But when I got company and I got friends over, well, not friends, that's a very strong word. I don't like having a lot of friends because friends are needy as shit. And I don't want people who are needy around me. I can go to the homeless shelter and get a friend who needs something. So back to the conversation here. I like using the seasoning I buy when I got people over my house. They always ask me, "Hey man, where'd you get this? This tastes a little bit different. Oh, I like this." It's never I don't like it, and it could be because of the alcohol and the fact that it's free. But in a nutshell, I am really big into having specialized seasonings. Seasoning is what I like. I like specialized seasoning. So you saw what it's like when you don't have the right stuff. One of the things too that people don't know this, but I'm gonna tell you though. Most people start putting sauce on their meats way too damn quick, way too quick, because see, sauce has sugar in it, and sugar burns. That's why a lot of your meats look like they've been burnt, because sugar burns, and it burns quick. The whole key to saucing food, you're gonna put sauce on it. The whole key, start putting sauce on maybe the last 15 minutes of your cook cycle. Maybe the last 15 minutes. Do not put sauce on an hour out or 30 minutes out. No, no, no. Because every sauce you make in this world got sugar in it. So don't put sauce on too damn quick. Some people, you think that all they want to eat is sauce. I don't. I have not sauced meat in probably about 20 years. Don't get me wrong. I make my own sauces. I let you sauce your own meat. And if you want your meat to taste good sauced, put some sauce on it, put it in a microwave, and give it 2 or 3 minutes. You got a perfect glaze on that meat. You don't have to re-cook the meat. You're just reheating the meat, but you're getting the sauce into it. But if you got your sauce on a smoker, and you putting sauce on it every 15, 30 minutes, like a lot of people tell you to do, dumb, dumb, dumb. Because now you want to know why your meat is the way it is. Now, one thing I'm gonna tell you that some people are gonna disagree with, and I say this: there is a way to put too much smoke in food. There's a way to put too much smoke. I have been to people's houses, and they have used liquid smoke. I have never used that, never will use that, because you taste it in the food, and it leaves an aftertaste for 20 minutes later. You can. I went to. I was in California, and this guy was advertising smoked ribs and stuff, and I decided to order some smoked ribs. I ordered smoked ribs, and then I canceled the order. He said, "You want to smoke ribs?" I said, "I did, but I don't." And he said, "Why not?" "I don't see a smoker anywhere on your property. I don't see a smoker." He goes, "Well, if you try my ribs, they are very, very smoky." And I said, "Okay, how are you putting the smoke in? How's the smoke getting in your food?" And he said to me, he said, "Oh, that's easy." He said, "I use liquid smoke." That's like using liquid nicotine. Who in their right mind would ever use liquid nicotine? But he said he used liquid smoke. And I had a friend that cooked one time, and it sucked. I mean, it was nasty as hell when I tasted it. So that's the 7 tips. But I'm gonna go over a couple more that people need to know. If you use a charcoal burner or a wood burner, you got to understand direct heat and indirect heat. You have to understand that. 99% of people don't know anything about that. I always, when I use my charcoal smoker, I always got food over the fire, and then I got a part to where there's no fire. That's my cooling off area. When I'm near the temperature I want to be, I put it over there, because it's still gonna get a little hotter, and so you want to have that area that's not directly over the fire. You got to do that, because fire is gonna rotate in your pit. It's gonna go left, right, back, underneath, back on top. It's gonna do that. So some people use too much direct heat because they want to get the temperature to 205 over the fire. No. You get a brisket to say 195, 190. Move it to the indirect part, not the direct part. The direct is directly over the heat. Indirect is the part that's not over the heat. So move it over there. It's still going to render itself. It's going to render the fat, and it's going to increase it. And beef is always going to get hotter as you take it off the grill or off the smoker. All foods are still going to cook, and the temperature is going to rise. Temperature is going to rise. So let's go over one other thing that bothers me. Know how to use your air vents on your smokers or your grills. Know how to use them. But I want to go back about indirect smoke, indirect heat, and direct heat. One problem you're going to have on the state-of-the-art pellet smokers, one problem you're going to have, and you can't avoid it. You're never going to have a direct and indirect part of a pellet smoker. You're not going to have that, because the newer state-of-the-art, all the heat rises across the entire smoker equally. So there's no cooling off area. So that is not applied to pellet smokers. All the heat comes up equally. It cooks the entire pan. It cooks the entire pan or your smoker equally. On the left, on the right is the same temperature on your state-of-the-art smokers. Now, on some of these older ones, yes, you got, one part cooks faster than the other part. No. I got Traegers out there right now. You measure to the right, it says 250 degrees. I go to the extreme left, it says 250 degrees. I always measure my hot and cold spots. So back to air vents. You gotta know how to control those, especially on these large smokers. You gotta understand your air vent. You gotta understand that, okay? Now, here's a pet peeve of mine. Matter of fact, most people cook their foods too hot. I don't really understand that, but I think those are for people who grill food, not people who smoke food. It's a huge difference, like I said earlier. I think people who smoke food don't have that problem. You grill food, you're gonna have that problem, because you're gonna crank it up to 400 degrees or 300 degrees, or whatever. The temperature you cook that steak at, to sear it, should not be the temperature you cook the ribs at. I don't know who in the hell cook ribs on a grill anyway. But I guess, people do it because, people are stupid. So now, here's my pet peeve. I got 2 major pet peeves. Here's my pet peeve. People opening the lid too damn much. I see people, if you know that this brisket is going to take 16 hours or 12 hours or whatever, why are you opening it? Why are you opening that smoker after an hour? Don't know why you're doing that. Dumb as hell, because when you open that lid or the hood, it takes a lot of smokers a while to get back to the temperature you want. Now, the one thing I can tell you about pellets. Pellet smokers will get back to that temperature quicker than charcoal or wood will. Always. Because electricity is faster than the wind. And some of you don't understand that, but think about it. The speed of light is 96 million miles per second. Per second. That's the speed of electricity. Wind in a hurricane or in a tornado has never exceeded 300 miles per hour. So the electricity is going to move faster to turn your auger faster than the wind dying down and you getting the smoker back up. So there's no, and I know this may, some of you can't grasp this because, you know, your education is your problem and it's not your fault. You know, your parents did the best they could. And they at some point realized that my son's never going to be a mathematician or engineer or great at smoking food. You know, your parents realized that probably when you was about 7 or 8 months old, maybe even earlier. But my point is, when you're in an element and you got to fight with the wind, and fight with the rain, and it's too hot outside and all this and all that, opening that smoker every 5-10 minutes ain't doing nothing for you but just delaying how long it's going to take for you to cook whatever it is you're trying to cook. That's all it is. Now, that's my first pet peeve. I'm going to end this conversation with my second pet peeve. My second pet peeve is people who don't have thermometers in their house or where they're cooking at. If you outside and you're going to cook, you got to have a thermometer. If not, you're doing your best to kill little Johnny. You must have a thermometer for safety reasons. And not only that, you want to make sure that your meat tastes the best it can taste because it's at the right temperature with the right seasoning. Those are things you just got to do. You just got to do. A thermometer is so damn cheap, but yet going to a copay for your doctor would cost more than 5 thermometers or 3 thermometers combined. So if you don't have a thermometer, you might be going to the doctor paying that copay because you got food poisoning from undercooked food. Or you will never get food poisoning from overcooked food. You may not like the taste of overcooked food, but you won't get food poisoning. But undercooked will make your body do things that you didn't know your body could do. It will make you find out how many bathrooms you got in your house. It will make you know that number by heart, and you will know where they're located at. You will know where to sit, look at TV, or whatever you're doing. You will strategize with food poisoning. Okay, this is your boy Leon D. That's a wrap for this video, and we're gonna talk some more about food in a couple of days because I gotta get you right before the 4th of July. I know a lot of you hard-headed people think I know. Even when I go down visit family and friends, and a few places, they just do a lot of bush league stuff. Well, let me tell you something. You can put a Band-Aid on a car and make it run for a while. You can't put a Band-Aid on your stomach if the food's not right and you're doing dumb things. You can't put a Band-Aid. No. Your body's going to tell you that was dumb. See, a car, you can buy another one. But you can't buy another body, though. I promise you that. No. If you think you can, don't follow my tips. And I guarantee you would know you can't. Okay, this is your boy Leon DT in a few days. More about food.